only man that's got the same move with every club. I'm the only golfer with the feeling of greatness. I'm the only golfer living that's got the master move and the feeling of greatness.
Hey, it's Todd Graves with the Feeling of Greatness podcast. I'm excited today to have Tim O'Connor, who's a very good friend of mine, in the room today. He's we go way back, Tim, and we have had what we call many kitchen discussions, where we sit around and discuss. I don't know. Is it philosophy? Is it? I don't know. We've gone around. We've probably talked about everything under the sun. But one of the things I love about Tim is not only are we really good friends, but we can't have these conversations. And there's some people in my world that I really respect, and there's some people in my world that I really honor their friendships. And Tim's one of those. But there's a lot of history, Tim, with you and me, when it goes with Moe Norman, because that's kind of what brought us together, right? Is Moe and Tim. Tim was the author of The Feeling of Greatness, which is the title of this podcast. Which, hey, maybe that's why this is the title of the podcast, because it's the feeling of greatness. I think the feeling of greatness is something that we're all striving for. And I think it's why we're here today, because we're all trying to, be greater, which is we're going to discuss today. And we're all also trying to feel better in our lives. Tim and I had a conversation a couple weeks ago, and we got in the subject of accountability. And that is a subject I want to really dive into today, is this whole idea of accountability. But before we do get into all that, how you doing, Tim?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for the invitation to come on your podcast. Yeah, indeed. We go way back.
Way back.
And we have more and more white on our faces now.
Yeah.
But I'm laughing too, because you talked about many kitchen conversations, and there you are. I think are you in your kitchen in Orlando?
No, I'm in our office kitchen. I was trying to figure out a good background. I'm like, there is no good background in here. So I just sat right here. I was trying to figure out what should be in the background.
Well, it's just another kitchen conversation. There we go.
You want a Coke, something? You want some coffee? Yeah.
I got my water. I'm good.
Good. Yeah.
It's funny, just on the subject of, why the name, The Feeling of Greatness, that came from a conversation I had with Moe as I was wrapping up the first edition of the book. I think it was 1994 or so, that I had done all this research. I talked with Moe, and then I was just finishing up the book, and I just felt like I didn't quite have what I needed to bring it to a conclusion. And so I went back down to Florida, down to Titusville, and Moe was hanging out at the Royal Oak Golf Club at the time, where all the Canadian pros, it used to be owned by the Canadian PGA. Anyways, I was talking with Moe about, I know, it was an opportunity that he was invited to talk to the PGA of America, a teaching summit. And everyone was so excited that Moe would get the respect that he had been alluded him, and a chance to share his knowledge, and people did, basically to pay tribute to him. Well, there's no way in hell Moe was going to do this.
No,
just that was out of his comfort zone. Just no way he was going to stand in front of about upwards of 2,000 people. Anyway, so I was in the restaurant with Moe, and I thought, okay, I got to ask him about this. Anyways, I asked him, hey, Moe, what about the PGA of America Teaching Summit? Well, he got up and he bolted out of the restaurant. It's like, oh, yeah. So I go chasing after him. And I'm thinking, oh, don't take off on me, Moe. I need some more stuff from you. And so I've had these situations before where it's almost like panic with an interview subject who you think is going to run away or hang up the phone. Anyways, I think I just blurted out. I said, Moe, what do you love about hitting a golf ball? And he just sort of stopped and he just launched into this soliloquy about feeling it. It's almost like he's riding on the shot. Every muscle, everything is going. He goes, he says, I'm the only one who has it. The feeling of greatness. And I was like, wow.
There it is.
There it is. And so that was the last conversation I had with him before I finished the book. But I had an amazing ending to the book. And it occurred to me very soon after, I also have a title. And so there you go. That's the background to the title, The Feeling of Greatness.
Do you think Moe came up with that? I think he did. But I mean, because, you have the Paul Berkeley stuff with Moe, yep. And you have a lot of Moe's influenced a lot by his peers, and especially guys like Paul. But that seems like I've heard Moe recite the poems, and then I spent time with Paul, and they were right from Paul, and Paul taught Moe these things.
The little robot poem.
The little robot, yeah.
Yeah.
And but the feeling of greatness, that seems to be Moe. That's completely Moe, unique to Moe. I don't know that, but
I think it is. It could have been. Everything's bored under the sun. We're all influenced. We stand on the shoulders of those before us. So maybe he heard it somewhere else, but he applied it in a way that just made so much sense in terms of what he felt when he's hitting a golf ball. Because that's the hard thing to understand for people. It was just like, how do you understand a guy like Moe? I mean, very complex human being, very much an artist in the way he hit a golf ball. I think one of the most kinesthetically gifted athletes I ever met. But the way he found that phrase, and whether he borrowed it or whether he invented it, who cares? It's so perfect.
Yeah. I've had I've been working on kind of a manuscript recently, and I've been writing a lot about just the biomechanics of the swing and the things that I've discovered, and some of the, and it all relates in every, when I walk through the manuscript and I'm writing, I can't help but find myself walking through Mo's brain a little bit and what he was going through when he kind of discovered his swing. And I'm like, the genius of Moe is always in there. Like, I can't get away from it and so when I teach people the golf swing, you can't think your way to a good golf swing. I mean, you can't read a book. You have to do your way. You have to, in other words, you have to move your body into a good golf swing. Then that's what trains your body, and that's what builds your neural network in your brain and all that. And Moe is so intuitively tied into the feeling from hitting a golf ball to his brain. That's why I think Moe would say my mental makeup, but the way he was wired seemed to be more efficiently wired. And maybe, and you've said this before to me, getting out of your own way. I think Moe was always out of his own way. I mean, I don't think he was ever in his own way because he was so intuitively tied into feelings, which is what you have to do when you're learning something. It doesn't matter if it's a golf swing, but you got to learn the feeling of something, and that has to wire you. It goes in that direction. I think about this stuff a lot because I teach the biomechanics of the swing, and I teach people how to move, but in the sense that movement is what's teaching them.
That's right. I mean, you and I have had many discussions about this because, I also, just for your listeners, for their, so they know I coach golf as well. I coach, I teach everything from novices, never picked up a golf club, to scratch players, in all facets of the game, golf swing, mental side, all of that. But you and I have had so many discussions about the way that most golfers, and this is generally speaking, is that they try to think their way through their golf swing. They use their mind to direct their body to, right elbow fall in front of my hip, turn my hips, whatever, on and on and on. That's not how we roll as humans. You learned to eat, to walk down stairs, to speak. You learn these things through your experiences. You didn't have your parents going, Todd, come on, we've been through this. You got to put one foot like this, not like that. I mean, we learn this stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's, as you were saying, it's a slightly different way of saying it. We learn through our experience. We learn through our own experience. So rather than thinking our way through, it's connecting. So a lot of people peg me as a, mental game coach. That's fine. It's good to be aware of what you're thinking and what you're feeling, et cetera. But I think at the end of the day, golf is a physical game.
Yeah.
You're hanging on to a club, a tool, and you're using it to send a ball to a target. And that's a physical thing. So to come back to it, you better be feeling what's going on physically.
Yeah. You said it. You got to experience your way into a great golf swing. And so what you experience is important because you have to direct your experiences in the correct way. I think that's where we come in as coaches, is we're trying to direct people's experiences. Like, here's what we believe you should experience, which is going to help you learn. Because so many people don't know how to experience the correct things. I know that's where I spend my time. I mean, start with the address and grip first. That's the experience I want you to have first before you start trying to figure out the backswing. So I think that's what we do as coaches. We're just we're basically pointing in the direction of experience and then guiding the experiences. Because I know that I've produced tens of thousands of videos, and none of them are helpful if you don't experience what's on the video. Like, you can watch those videos all day long and it might be entertaining. Maybe I'm entertaining. I don't even know. But as much entertainment as you may be getting from it, if you don't go experience it for yourself, you will not learn it. That is a fact.
Yeah.
So,
Todd, I think you're very entertaining. Just want you to know.
Okay. Now, I have my moments, but.
Well, the thing, what we're talking about, it may strike people something as nuanced, but there's such a difference. It's a cliche. Are you playing golf or are you playing golf swing? Mm-hmm. Are you thinking your way through this swing? And what happens when we try to think our way through something, we automatically judge. Am I doing this right? And if you're not getting the ball flight or the contact you want, well, where do you go from there? Well, I guess I'm not good enough. I started golf too late. I have too many bad habits, on and on and on. And it just keeps you stuck in your head and thinking, as opposed to experiencing and having, like, sensing something. Oh, I just felt what my hands are doing here. I felt my body moving to the target. That's experience.
I got a question for you. So I don't know if you experience what I experience as a coach, but I got to ask you this because, and I don't think it's unique to me, but I'll ask you this. Have you ever thought about what's the most common question you get asked when you start coaching somebody from your students? What were the top 3 questions you get asked when you start?
Well, maybe this is the same thing, but I ask them what they want. The number one thing is, I want to be consistent.
Okay.
That's the thing they want to be. They want to become consistent.
I get exact same thing. But what when you start teaching them, if you say, hey, here's what I'm going to teach you, right?
Oh, they want to tell me what I'm doing. Tell me what I'm doing wrong.
Okay. We get, how long is this going to take? Like that, it's at least, it's a top 2. I don't know if it's a top 1, but I think it's a top 1, but it's at least a top 2 questions. How long is it going to take? And here's what I don't have a good answer for that. I've never, I can't go 3 months, 4 days, and 12 seconds. I don't know. Right. But here's what I do know. If you don't start experiencing it now, you'll never get it. So it's like, if we start doing it correct now, then it'll be, and by the way, if we start doing it correct now, that's the fastest way I can get you there. So
yeah, exactly.
So I don't have an answer.
Yeah. Well, this might be a way to sneak into the accountability discussion. Yeah. I always try to throw it back to the student. I always start with every lesson. I start, so what do you want to do? Where do you want to start? And they always go, well, you're the pro, even though I'm not a PGA of Canada or PGA. You tell me. I'm like, nope. You tell me what you want to do here. And we always end up going where they need to go. But I always like to this is a Fred Shoemaker thing. I always like to empower the student. So they're leading it. So rather than are they doing what they consider right to please the instructor, so they get a pat on the head, the proverbial star in their notebook, that they're having their own experiences. And that's a different thing than, hey, coach, did I do it right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a different deal completely. But I think I strayed away from the accountability piece. When they talk about how long is this going to take, I could come back with, well, how much are you going to work on this? What are you investing in terms of your time?
It's 100%. That's the answer. And what's interesting is what I find, and I've seen this throughout my career as a coach. I try to flip it and say, if you can enjoy the process, then it doesn't matter how long it takes. There's a part of that too, because look, I'm a work in progress. I'm not perfect. I love to work on it. That's part of the joy for me. So I totally get that we want to get to the golf course and play well. But as you know, there's no perfection on the golf course. I don't care how good you are. And so you're always a work in progress. This is going to be a lifetime endeavor. So we want to get to a certain level and then go out there and then have these experiences and play well and then grow. I mean, there's always growth available. Every time I think I've gotten better, there's another tier to grow to. It's just an end process. So getting it, like, what does that even freaking mean? Like, what does getting it mean? Like breaking 80 or whatever, maybe some goals you set. But then when you're going to say, okay, I broke 80, I want to break 75. So it's going to be, what's the next level?
Where does it
right?
stop?
Well, it doesn't stop. Well, the question is, I mean, to me, it doesn't stop. It never stops.
Well, that's the whole, to sound like a Buddhist, that's the problem with so much of what the society we generally live in, and particularly in golf, is we're driven by these cravings of, oh, I want to get my index to this. I want to win. I don't want to top it off the first tee anymore, whatever it is. And so there's always this tension, this restlessness. Am I actually doing this? Am I meeting my goals? Am I good? Am I bad? Judging all the time. And that is just a recipe for suffering. And it's, I love the saying, the man with no expectations is never disappointed.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of, maybe I should say, I hope you don't get it, because I don't want you ever to be satisfied. Like, I want you always to be trying to get better and better, because that's the joy. Why miss out on that joy? Right. Because that is the joy of the process. If it's like, I'm going to get it and I'm going to leave, I'm like, okay, well, that's no fun. I mean, the joy of going to the next, the joy of you get someplace and you're like, okay, there's more for me here. Right. And there's more fun. There's more, because golf's a game of enjoyment and fun and experiences. And what does getting it mean? I mean, I play with guys and I'm better than they are. And I'm like, okay, then I play with a guy that's better than me. I'm like, man, there's another level I want to try to get to. He's doing stuff I can't do. So I'm always looking at how can I, because it's a self-improvement thing all the time. So, and that's the joy of kind of life. What I've seen people get almost to the point where they lack so much motivation. And I want to talk to you about motivation today, but because I think that's where we got in some discussion about the accountability piece. But when you lack the motivation that drives yourself forward, that seems to be like you're stuck. That seems like to me, I'm always motivated by growth and becoming not only maybe a better business guy or better leader, a better coach. I'm always kind of looking at that. I'm always reading things. I'm always looking at people that I admire that have information that might be helpful for me. So I think you and I we've talked about this many times, are looking to grow. And when people ask the question, well, how long does it take me to get it? I'm like, I don't really want you to get it. I want you to improve and advance and find joy. And I want you to get better. And I want you to see that. But as far as getting it, I don't even know what that means. I mean, I just don't know what that means. I don't got it. Right. I don't got it. I'm at a certain level, but I don't got it. Right. And now I'm going to keep going to get better and better and better. So I don't know. It's a tough question I get asked.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what, belief systems of different people, but I think when you see the white light, at the end of the, when it's time to
Yeah.
meet whomever, that's when you get it.
You got it. I got it. Yeah.
You got
Exactly.
it. But everything else is just, as you say, it's learning, and it's so much of it just depends on our perspective. Again, to come back to judging, believe me, the reason I coach is because I'm a work in progress like you, and the reason I'm invested in what I coach my students is because I'm going through the same journey as them.
Yeah.
I had a meltdown this summer at my second round of my club championship. I'm going pretty good. And anyways, I 4-putt the last green. And there's about 20 or 30 people looking down, and like, Todd, I was pissed. My God. I took off my hat, faked the smile, went to the scoring table, did the thing, threw my pencil, floored the cart across the parking lot, get to my car, take off my bag off the cart, bang it on the ground, as if to say, I'm having a little temper tantrum. You want to stay away from me. And I got the story going. Oh my God, I'm a coach. I work with people how to swing, how to act, how not to choke. Like, who am I? So I was right in it, man. Right effing in it. And just a human being.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
I just got caught in it, and it was just, unbelievable. But that's what we do. But, I had some awareness, and I had I'll just tell you. So I'm having my little temper tantrum, and I hear, "Hey, Tim, how was your day?"
Oh God.
I turn around, and there's Tim Kazarin is his name. He used to be a neighbor of mine when we lived in the village of Rockwood. Well, he's a firefighter, and I just got reacquainted. He just joined our club. Well, here's the thing, Todd. In 2014, Tim, a firefighter, there was an explosion, and a cinder block wall fell on him. When they found him, he had no vital signs. He ended up with 41 broken bones, broken neck, broken pelvis, everything. 25 surgeries later.
Wow.
He's back at work.
Wow.
And here's me having a temper tantrum about 4-putting a green.
He showed up at the exact right time, didn't he?
He sure did. And he, in essence, indirectly held me accountable, because my commitment was that I was just going to enjoy my golf, everything that comes with it, learn from my mistakes, on and on and on. And in essence, that was like, whoa, Timmy, you are not living your commitment here.
Well, it's funny how the universe throws stuff in front of us like this, right? I mean, I think that was totally serendipitous. It happened for exactly the right reason, right?
Totally.
You're having your little tantrum, and he brought you right back to reality and said, "Look, here's a reality check." I love it. It's so good. It's so good. I don't think we're directing this stuff. I think it's all being directed by something else. So that's awesome.
I'm with you 1,000%, pal. 1,000%.
It was funny. Did you ever remember what Seve Ballesteros did when he 4-putted I think at Augusta? Remember what he said? I miss. I make. Yeah, it was like, that's it. No stories. You tried every putt, Tim, did you? You tried every putt. You just couldn't get it to go in the damn hole. I get it. So.
Yeah, and, but it had zero bearing on my worth as a human being.
Yeah.
It had zero bearing. I mean, those guys who watch, they know that Tim is a coach, and they can think what they want. I have no control over it.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, the general rule of thumb around golf is that no one cares.
No. Well, it's funny because, so I played, quick story about some of my debacles. I played in, as a tour player and a pro. One thing I was proud of is I never shot in the 80s. Now, I shot plenty of 78s, 79s, but I never shot in the 80s. And I was kind of proud of that. Like, I fought it out to break 80, even when I'm playing my worst day. And I was always proud of that. Well, in 2000, I believe it was 2001. No, wait a minute. No, it was 2007 because I played my last competitive round in 2001. And in 2007, Tim calls me up and he goes, "Hey," he goes, "the Oklahoma Open here used to be kind of a lot of tour players that come back. You'd have Gil Morgan and Mark Hayes, and you'd have Verplank and Willie Wood and Doug Toole. All these guys that were local would come back and play this event. So you get to play with a bunch of the tour players, Bob Tway. And so I used to play the Oklahoma Open every year. Well, in 2007, Tim calls me and goes, "Hey, we're trying to fill the field. Why don't you play the Oklahoma Open this year?" I go, "Tim, I haven't touched a club in competitive golf in 6 years, maybe 7 years." Tim goes, "Just shut up. Just go play. Come on, have some fun." I said, "Whatever, fine." So I tee it up and I shoot 87, right? 87 on my first round. And I mean, it was a disaster, the round. But I walk off the round and one of my buddies goes, "How'd you shoot 87?" I was like, "I putted good." And it was true because I putted great to shoot 87. And he started laughing. I was like, I got putted good. I mean, all I know is I putted really good today. But it was like, you just, you have to it's just life. Right. And I found so much humor in the fact that I'm out there on the golf course and I just have no feel for the game at all because I had not been out in competitive golf in so long, but it's just you gotta roll with it, just gotta roll with it. I think as a coach, and I think you do too, you feel a little extra pressure because you're kind of expected to be this coach guy out there that has a different level of skill, and sometimes I feel a little pressure from that. I played in Lake Tahoe this year, and I when I go play social golf, and I think I talked about this in a podcast, when I play social golf, I want to goof around. I'm not there trying to score. I'm just hitting some shots. And when I play with Tracy, my wife, I just want to be with her and having fun on the course and watching her hit some shots. And, but we're playing at Lake Tahoe. And I literally, Tim, I booked the first tee time. It was like 3 a.m. in the morning. No, I'm just lying. That's a lie. It was like 5:59 a.m. It was like, give me the first tee time because I want to be by myself with Tracy and go play some golf. Well, sure enough, they booked us with 2 other people. Now this is at the course they played that celebrity tournament, Eaglewood or whatever that course is. Anyway, so now they pair me with 2 guys. And when I walk to the first tee, they're like, "Oh, you're Todd Graves. I follow you on YouTube. I know exactly who you are." And I'm like, "Oh shit." And I'm like, "God." I just want to come out here and hack it around. I don't want to care. I don't want to care. Now I'm kind of feeling like, oh my God, I can't just do what I want to do out here. Cause I'd hit 2 balls with Tracy once in a while and I'd hit one to the left, hit one to the right. Now I'm like, oh my God, these guys are actually watching me. So I was a miserable round to me. I mean, not that I can't play it off a little bit, but I just want to be there with Tracy. I didn't even know where to hit the ball. I'd never played the course before. So a lot of times when I don't know where to hit it, I'm just checking the course out. But anyway, sometimes I feel a little extra pressure from that stuff. I don't necessarily love it. I just want to come out there and do my thing, but it's all right. It's part of the
gig. You know what? That is a hard thing to do, but so logically speaking, you're not a tour player. I'm not. My best index has been a 5. I'm, so I can shoot all over the place.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's a part of the ego that says, "Oh, you got to show that you know your stuff and everything." But if I think of, again, this is purely logic. If you think of most of the best coaches in any sport, none of them were elite stars. I mean, Wayne Gretzky was the, superstar in the NHL. He was a very poor coach. Most of them were like, they played like, they never got to the NHL. If they did, it was a cup of coffee. But they knew how to play. They knew how to coach. They know that's why they do what they do. They're coaches. Yeah. It's a very different thing. I mean, yeah.
Well, no, I think in again, coming back to accountability, I think coaching, where I think that I've built some skills is communication.
Totally.
I think communication is a big deal. Taking complicated things and making them consumable in a way. I mean, that's why I look at my business is like taking something complex. The golf swing is a hard thing. We've simplified the golf swing down. Then you coach it in a way that makes it easily consumable. So it can be, so the people you're coaching, they'll never have the time to develop it into a consumable thing for them to speed up their learning process. And that's what we do as coaches. We're like, okay, we're refining these processes down so that you can consume them in a way that speeds up your learning. I wish I knew now, back when I was 24 years old, I wish I knew what I know now, because I wish I was coaching myself when I was 24. It would be a totally different experience for me, because I basically, like you, a lot of things figured it out on my own, then had to go back and figure out what I had learned and then put it in a way that makes sense. And then I coach those things. So again, back to the experience thing, coaching is taking our experiences, our lifetime experiences, things that were valuable to us, and then teaching those to other people so they don't have to go through that experience, or at least not as much of that experience. And that's really what coaching is. That's why the best coaches I've had in the world, they want you to experience it, but they're guiding you into your experiences.